All right. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the What's New with AvaSure webinar. My name is Nicole Douglas, and I'm your moderator today. If you're joining us today, you're joining in listen-only mode. You are more than welcome to join in on the conversation by adding a question into the Q&A section in your GoToWebinar console. We'll have time at the end of the discussion for Q&A. Go on the next slide, please. So today we're going to review a number of new things that you can expect out of AvaSure's virtual care platform. As I'm sure you've seen by now, we've really been investing a ton into our platform to make sure that it helps our customers deliver that high quality, personalized virtual care that helps to ease the burden on bedside staff while also bringing that joy back to the bedside. And in this latest release, we have even more ways you can leverage AI to support things like operational insights and patient safety. We've got many new features in our virtual nursing application that you're going to love, and big enhancements to our platforms to improve security, devices, and integration into other systems. We'll go on the next slide, please. So it takes a lot of very brilliant minds to bring you the enhancements, and so that's why I have the brain trust here with me today. So first, I'd like to introduce Sarah Quiring. She is a nurse by background, and she is leading the charge with our AI strategy to make sure that AI is implemented in ways that improve the nursing experience. We've got Brad Smith. He is blazing the trail for virtual nursing and creating that seamless smart room experience. And lastly, we've got Krista Young. He is an expert on all things hardware and analytics, and he's building the platform that you can take into any hospital room. So I'm excited to have this group here with me today. Sarah, we're going to get started with you. So I'm going to pass it over to you to talk about what's new with AI.
All right. Thanks so much, Nicole. I'm excited to be part of the brain trust here. So some of our AI enhancements that we're launching at the end of this quarter that I'm going to talk about are the integration with our analytics platform, some really exciting and a new product launch with our AvaSure Intelligence Dashboard, and then just a reminder of what we actually currently have available today that you can take advantage of. So if you could go to the next slide, please, Laura. So for those of you who attended our last What's New with AvaSure, you may remember that we acquired some intellectual property from UVA. And in that intellectual property, that included some AI models for a couple different things. Patient and bed flow, staff visits, and a measure of acuity for patients. Early mobility, how long your patient is spending, for example, in the chair or standing and walking in the room and getting them ready for discharge. And then we have added PPE detection and then meal delivery as well. So if you go to the next slide, I'll show you an overview that all of that information is going to surface in our dashboard. And so at the end of this year, we are going to be launching that and looking to implement that at several partner hospitals. So if that is something that your hospital would be interested in, I'd love to chat more with you about that, and you can reach out to your sales executive for a bit more information. So a lot of new and exciting AI technology, and we are going to be adding further models really every quarter. So what we have today from our last What's New with product, just a reminder, we do have an AI fall and elopement prevention solution, if you don't mind going to the next slide, that is embedded in our Telesitter application. So this really proactively gives alerts to your virtual safety attendants to help them intervene for patients who are at risk for fall or elopement events. And so we are taking the data that is coming from that system and we're actually adding it to analytics so our nurse leaders can get a better overview of their Telesitter program, kind of monitor their virtual safety attendant performance as well, and really see where patients maybe need some additional intervention. So making a lot of really exciting AI changes. And yeah, Nicole, I'll turn it back to you so we can talk about some other things that are coming.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. One other question before we move on. So we hear a ton about AI, of course, and there's some concerns out there that AI can be like Big Brother, potentially watching over nursing staff, and no one likes that feeling. So could you describe a little bit more about what it is exactly that our AI is looking for and how we protect both patient and caregiver privacy?
Yeah, absolutely. So our AI is, making inferencing or sending alerts off of live video. So we are not recording or storing that video for any sort of like auditing purposes or review. So I think for nurses who are really concerned about Big Brother, that is absolutely something that to keep in mind. This is a live video like our current product today. But really, when we look at the kind of things that we're looking for in the room, they are all some quality measures to help nurses be more operationally efficient in their roles. So, for example, if our AI is noticing that a nurse is spending like an hour in a patient room, maybe that's an assignment shift that needs to occur where that nurse has fewer patients that he or she is taking care of so that they can give that patient the help that they need.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, looking for ways to just help to continue to make sure that nurses have the support that they need. Great, Sarah, thank you. So next, I'm going to pass it over to Brad Smith, and he is going to talk through some really exciting enhancements with our virtual nursing application.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to introduce some additional features that we're adding to virtual nursing, as well as talk about some of our EMR integrations, which are available today, but just a general reminder. So let's start to the next slide. First things first, we really have been listening to our customers, and we've captured your feedback in order to and have a huge effort to make episodic even better than it is now. We recognize the need for continuous improvement. We recognize the need to have our product grow and improve and evolve really with your clinical workflows. So with that, one of the first items I'm proud to introduce is translation services. So we recognize and understand the importance it is that you have to quickly communicate with customers of all languages. So with that, to make the process seamless, we've introduced complete integration with translation services in our episodic solution. Today, we are integrating in with AMN and Language Line. We'll also be adding others as we continue to grow. But what this feature really allows you to do is with a simple click of a button, allows that virtual nurse to introduce and send an invitation to an interpreter of all languages, of all available languages, and get them to join the call without having to have something outside of the episodic solution. So it's a quick two-button process. You can get an interpreter on the line, and it's all embedded and seamless within our episodic solution. Next, we really understand the importance virtual nurses have, the importance of multitasking when it comes to virtual nursing workflows. With that, we've introduced our ability to provide a dock mode capability. So we've introduced dock mode capabilities within our solution that truly allows the nurse to get on a call with a patient, um, hit the dock mode button, and keep that call at the forefront of their screen as they're able to go access other applications in the background of their computer. Next, obviously, when you're on a virtual call, one of the things that is key is documentation and information sharing. So what we've introduced is the ability for that virtual nurse to screen share and provide information directly to the patient, as well as group members on the call, so that they can all sit and review, things like lab results, things like discharge orders, items that are of key importance that require that patient or group members to, physically see the documentation so that it can be reviewed, can now happen all within the episodic solution. For a fourth feature, we've added, we recognize when you're on these calls, similar to how I'm on my call right now, privacy and having a private and distraction-free experience is critical. What you don't want is these virtual nurses may be in a command center with people walking around in the background. It may be a consultant that's at home. We really want to make sure that they're able to provide that level of care without interrupting or disrupting the conversation. So by adding in a virtual or blurred background, it allows the patient and the caregiver to focus on each other versus focusing on what's happening in the background of the virtual caregiver. And finally, we know that each call that happens within virtual nurse or virtual care consult has a reason, and we know that those reasons are valid, and we know that metrics are important in order to understand the reasons for the calls, to understand how well your virtual nursing program is doing, and understand what areas of focus are currently happening within your virtual care environment. So with that, we've added what's called our call reason or description feature, so that at the end of the call, their virtual caregiver has a pop-up message that occurs once they end the call, and it allows them to select from various different reasons as to, why did you have that call. That then gets stored into our system and sent over to our AvaSure analytics platform so that we can that we can provide reports, we can provide analytics, and we can really truly integrate the virtual care information in with the rest of your AvaSure analytics solution. So with that, all of the additional features, I do want to move to the next slide. And just let everyone know that, integration with the EMRs has never been easier. First things first, if we think about Epic as the EMR or other EMRs, we're able to integrate and capture inbound order messages. We're also able to send outbound patient event information. So this could means the SAT alarm that can go out to the EMR or your third-party alarm and alert systems. Finally, we know that performing, keeping things within Epic may be desired by certain customers. So what we've allowed is the ability for consults to happen right there within your Epic Cal platform. And finally, what we've added in is our Epic eCal access so that our system you're able to use Epic eCal to also monitor your patients directly from the Epic solution. So again, all of these integration options exist. We just wanted to send a simple reminder that, hey, please take advantage of these capabilities. We're actively looking for folks to utilize our Epic Cal integration as well as our Epic eCal integration. It's an exciting time for you to really and truly get our virtual nursing or virtual care workflows embedded into your existing systems.
Thanks, Brad. Really excited about the virtual nursing enhancements. From a clinician usability standpoint, those are going to be huge. So really excited to see the strides there. I'm going to replug what you had just said. We're hearing a lot of great feedback from our customers who have taken on those EHR integrations. So if you are tired of using paper admission forms or you want to route your stat alarms to nurse communication systems, that's what you want to leverage. We've got some great opportunities for you to really help streamline your day-to-day workflows. All right, Brad, I'm going to kick it over to Chris to talk a bit more about our platform enhancements. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Excited to talk a little bit about our platform, which includes hardware, software, and analytics. There's a lot going on, so why don't we just jump right in? Next slide, please. So Guardian Access Enhanced Tilt, whether an observer is continuously monitoring patients with virtual sitting, virtual nursing with episodic, or utilizing Guardian Access video streams with AI, it's important to ensure the optimal view of the entire patient room. After thorough testing, AvaSure is excited to release the new Enhanced Tilt bracket that you see, which gives you a much improved view of the patient room. Next slide. Active call indicator light. So AvaSure's intelligent virtual care platform can accommodate virtual sitting, episodic consults, AI, and even integration with third-party platforms. So where it gets interesting is that means that there's multiple systems that could potentially access a single device. So it's important to know if there's an LED light on, what does that LED light mean? It is not a privacy light, it is an active call indicator light. It indicates when there is an active person monitoring through that device. When it is in privacy mode, that light will turn off. And if it is just being monitored by AI, the light will also be off. Next slide, please. This is something I'm really excited about. So AvaSure provides the best customer care support in the industry. And to further improve that support, we've released the stream analysis dashboard. This helps AvaSure implementation teams on the front end to make sure that device configurations are correct, to make sure that network configurations are correct. It also helps support teams better troubleshoot and identify things like data packet loss, latency, jitter. Just gives much more access to device information more rapidly. Also includes things like Wi-Fi status, and other network information, especially if there's ever an interruption in data. So really excited for this for our AvaSure implementation and customer care support teams. Any questions about this before we go on? I didn't know if there were any questions on the stream analysis dashboard. All right, we'll go into federated authentication for analytics. So we've recognized the importance of providing federated authentication for our platform, and we're now excited to offer this with analytics. Why is it important? Provides streamlined access, simplifies the login process. It's a single source of truth for authentication and just reduces overhead for IT teams that are already extremely busy. Also improves efficiencies for those logging in to view the information. Next slide, please. Standardized integration with IPC vendors. So what is IPC? Interactive Patient Care Systems. So most patient rooms have a single TV. Those TVs are now utilized to not only provide entertainment, but IPC vendors are also using those TVs to interact with platforms like AvaSure and other platforms. AvaSure currently integrates with Akeso and Evidion. We're able to provide messaging on the TV when there's an observer present, as you can see on the right there, as well as stat alarm has been activated. We're also developing the ability to play the video of the observer on the TV. I mentioned a couple of the IPC vendors that we're working with, but the nice thing is this is a standardized integration, so the same integration will work with other IPC vendors like Avidex, pCare, OneView, just a few listed there. Next slide, please.
That's over to me. And Chris, before we move on, just real quick, I wanted to talk about a few things that you had mentioned. So with the stream analysis dashboard, that is something that is internally facing to AvaSure, but we're excited to highlight that because that really helps us be more proactive with how we serve our customers. So could you describe a little bit more about how the insights delivered from that dashboard help us to reach out to our customers and make sure that we're hitting them with issues before they even arise?
Yeah, thanks, Nicole. So AvaSure has the unique opportunity to support hospitals across North America. They expect their devices to be up 100% of the time. So this tool gives us the ability to take a step closer to proactive support. It's not just a dashboard for AvaSure's internal teams. It also provides email information if there ever is a device error, network error, interruption. Our hospital designated contacts will also receive that information.
So thank you. And on your last section about IPC, so if someone's not familiar with what an IPC vendor is, an interactive patient communications or care system, could you describe a little bit more about what types of technologies those vendors provide and where they might see it in their hospital rooms and those opportunities to integrate?
Yeah, so there's typically a TV in a patient room, and it gives the uh, system administrator the ability to provide more information than just entertainment. So it can integrate with systems that can provide messaging, video, education, and information about platforms such as AvaSure to be able to let folks in the room, whether it's the patient or clinicians, know exactly what the status is. Is there an active call going on or not? Is it in privacy mode? That information will be displayed on the TV, which will help the individuals in the room.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, especially everything that we're going through today is really just helping to make sure that the experience that we provide is a unified one, that we are connecting with other systems within the hospital room, the workflows are seamless for caregivers, and that it just makes sense. And that's really what my brain trust here is seeking out to achieve. We can pop the slides back up real quick. Thank you, Chris.
Thank
So
you.
just to wrap everything up, as you heard, and what you continue to hear from us is that we're really making some big strides and we continue to put our foot on the gas of innovation. We're really focused in some key areas that you can see on the slide here, but really what we're focused on is making smarter devices that are designed to fit in any room. So whether that means they're tamper-proof for behavioral health patients or they have a smaller footprint. So they have with like high powered Zoom capabilities to help service everyday consultations. We're also enhancing our platform so you can trust that you're using the most secure and scalable technology that can be reliable for 24/7 continuous monitoring and episodic consults. We're also expanding our integration partner ecosystem. You heard a lot about that today. We want to make sure that you have the easiest virtual care workflows and that you can make the most out of the investments that you've already made. And lastly, we are growing with how we use AI to help augment virtual and in-person caregivers. We want to help make sure that the caregiver focus is off the computer and onto patients. So we're really excited about all these enhancements. You're going to continue to hear more from us about the really exciting things that we're launching today. So thank you for joining us. If there's anything here that you saw that your organization can benefit from, please go ahead and reach out to your dedicated customer success advisor. And we have some time for Q&A now. So final reminder to drop your questions into Q&A. And while we're waiting on that, I did want to make sure that you have the save the date for our next webinar. And in that webinar, we're going to dive into the latest trends in virtual care adoption. We recently conducted a independent survey of nursing and hospital leaders, and we found that only 11% had reported widespread adoption of virtual care. So on December 10th, Lisbeth Votruba and Claire Zangerly, who is the newly appointed AHA Chief Nurse Executive and AONL CEO, they're going to dive into those latest research findings, and they're also going to discuss strategies to help elevate and scale virtual care programs, but mostly keeping a focus on cross-functional collaboration and effective change management. So this is a great opportunity to bring some learnings back to your teams. All right, so we've got a little bit of time for Q&A. So I've got a few here. All right, first and foremost, when will these new technologies be available? Great question. So this is our Q4 release. So what we discussed here today will be available near the end of the year. You will be receiving an email from AvaSure with information when the release becomes live. Next question, Sarah, more about availability. Could you talk a little bit more about availability of our ambient AI solutions?
Absolutely. So just to reiterate what Nicole said, we are targeting the end of the year for availability. But if it is something your hospital is interested, or really any of the features that we talked about today, it takes time and teamwork to kind of plan through what an update will look like for your hospital and get everything in place. So I would say start planning now and reach out to your sales rep, and we can start that process so that when it is the end of the year, you're ready to go.
Thank you. All right, just last question is how can I share this with my team? Yes, so if you're attending today or if you registered for this webinar, you will receive a recording to this. Feel free to share that with your team. It'll be emailed after the webinar today. So if you do have anything that you'd like to chat with us about, please go ahead and reach out to your dedicated customer success advisor. If you're not sure who that is, you can email customersuccessteam@avasure.com and we'll make sure you're getting set up with the right person. But want to thank my Brain Trust for joining us today on this webinar. Thank you all for the amazing work that you're doing to help make sure that our customers have the best platform to service their patients. So thanks everyone for joining us today and have a great rest of your afternoon.